It's the morning of day 7. I had the daunting task of telling my fellow neighbors about the news of the EMP attack, of the North Korean attack on the western coast of our country. I didn't know how they would take it, and I wasn't quite sure at this point what they would believe and what they wouldn't believe. But I had to do what I had to do to protect us all, to let them know what was going on. I was the only one with the radio to have the information to come across. All the other ones had walkie-talkies, so I had to let them know what was happening. I had been up for most of the night. It was my night on guard duty. So I began the task of walking everybody in the morning to tell them to meet me over in the house within an hour. Within a few minutes, Mitch had responded saying that he'd be over. Gwen and Mariah came back to me at about 10 minutes later saying that they'd be over in a little bit. Hadn't heard from Lenny and Diane. I said, okay, meet me at my house within the next hour. I've got some information I need to share with you all. I said, we'll try again with Lenny and Diane, and if we don't hear from them, we'll check on them. So they all said, okay, no problem. About an hour later, everyone had arrived. Molly, out of the kindness of her heart, made some breakfast for everybody. She didn't really take into consideration that the food that she made for them was getting into our preps. At that point, I didn't really care. These people were like family to me, you know. They're your neighbors. They're your friends. At this point, we weren't going to be upset about, getting a breakfast to our neighbors. So we were able to get some coffee made, some light eggs and toast, using the things that we had from our survival kits. Mostly from the MREs that I had. And I also had bought one of those little wood burning stoves that you can use outside that you can cook with. So it's like a camping stove. So that's how we were able to cook most of our breakfast. And I was able to do the same with some coffee. I had the instant brew, which wasn't the greatest coffee, but at least it was better than nothing. So no Lenny and Diane. Mitch said, where are they? I told him, I don't know. I haven't heard back from them. I walked them twice. He said, well, do you think we should go over there and find out what's going on? I said, yeah, we should. But for now, let me just tell you what's going on so I can get this off my chest. Gwen and Mariah piped in, what's going on? You look very concerned. You're sweating. I told them, I'm very nervous. I don't know how to tell you this, but the day before yesterday, I got an information over the radio saying that there was a large-scale nuclear attack from North Korea on our soil. And they couldn't believe it. And they said, you didn't tell us this yesterday? I said, why was I going to break up what you guys were doing? It was important for the kids to have a stable day, to be normal and safe, at least safe as we could be. I told them the message said there was an attack on the western coast of the country. Didn't know if there was any other attacks anywhere on our side of the country, on the eastern coast, or if there was any other parties involved or any other countries. Information was scarce, and we hadn't heard back from the president. And then my radio cut out. Transmission was pretty rough. So Gwen and Mariah and Mitch all said the same thing. Well, what's our plan? I said, our plan has been the same. We have to hunker down, protect our homes. I said, the best thing to do now is to shut off our ventilations. If you have any windows that you can close up or able to wrap, I would go ahead and do that. But we don't know at this point. We're going to have to take it day by day. I said, I have some stuff for myself, but I can't really divulge more of what I have in my preps for you guys. I only have a limited supply of iodine pills and extra face masks for me and Molly. I said, if there's anything were to happen with nuclear fallout, at this point, I don't even think that would help us. At this point, we'd all die. They were in shock. Of course they would be. I told them, I've got the radio on. As soon as I hear any more information, I will promise you that I will get that information to you. I just didn't want to ruin the day that we had yesterday with all the kids playing outside. It seemed like the eye of the hurricane. It was peaceful and whatnot. After we convened and had our lunch, or our early breakfast, we decided that the best thing to do was to check on Lenny and Diane because we had not heard from them in a while. Mitch said he would take watch over the neighborhood, and Gwen would return to her home to keep an eye on the kids. Mariah came with me. She had the .22 mag that I had given her since the beginning of this incident. I decided to take my .45-70. I hadn't taken it out yet. I figured it was time to have it, just in case I needed to use it. I had plenty of rounds of .45-70 ammo. I still was doing good on my 12-gauge shotgun, but I wanted to at least bring a different gun out this time. Not that it would make a difference. Both guns were powerful and can do a lot of damage. We knocked on Lenny and Diane's door. There was no answer. We looked around. We saw there was no activity in days. We totally forgotten about them. I felt bad. They were 2 buildings down from us, but they had been keeping in contact with us, and they had been part of our little clique, if you want to call it that. I looked into the windows, didn't see any activity in the house. The windows didn't appear to be broken. The door hadn't been busted in. So nobody had made their way into the house to try to break in to harm them. It was very puzzling. So Mariah and I went to the back of the building. We went to their backyard, went to look at the back door. Nothing was wrong. Back door was intact. There was no damage. Nothing looked like anything had been disturbed. I said, well, this is kind of bothering me now. I walk it again on the radio with everybody hearing, asking Lenny to respond. He didn't. I asked Mariah what I should do. She said, at this point, we need to get in to find out what was going on. I said, well, what are we going to do, break a window? She's like, well, maybe we can pry one of the windows open. You never know if they had left a window open and not locked it just out of, having the window open for like a cool night because it had still been summertime. I said, okay. So all the first floor windows we had looked around, the bottom window near the downstairs bathroom had been opened. So I was able to crawl through and push out the screen and crawl inside. I helped Mariah get in. Once we were in, we began asking for Lenny and Diane. Lenny, Diane, where are you? I screamed it many times. We were in the kitchen, nothing. We searched the living room, nothing. They had a spare bedroom downstairs, nothing. I said, well, let's go upstairs. Maybe we'll find them. So Mariah and I went upstairs. Cautious, though, as we walk upstairs. And with the first bedroom on the left was the spare bedroom again. Nobody in there. But then as I walked into their master bedroom, I saw what appeared to be two bodies laying on the ground. Mariah screamed in horror. She couldn't believe it. There was Lenny and Diane, both dead, on the floor. No gunshot wounds. They weren't the victims of an assault. But there was open pill bottles all over the place. I was in shock and horror. I walked over to Mitch and to Gwen and to Molly. I said, it's not good. It's not good. I need one of you guys over here now. Gwen said she'd be right over. She brought the kids over to Molly, and Molly kept an eye on the kids because Gwen was a registered nurse. She came running over, but it was too late. Lenny and Diane were dead. They had committed suicide. They didn't want to deal with this anymore. They must have taken their prescription pills, whether it was sleeping pills, Xanax, or whatever they had. I didn't really know what kind of pills that they were on for medication or whatnot. Lenny told me his wife was in a lot of bad health over the last few years. So it looked like to me that they were overdosing on whatever kind of medication she had used. We were both all in shock. All of us were in shock and didn't know what to do. It was at that point we decided to pick the bodies and dig holes in the backyard and graves and bury them. I walked it over to Mitch. I said, bring some extra shovels. It's not good. He came over and just wept and was crying. He said, I didn't really know them, but I'm crying because I'm so sad that they're dead. I said, we don't have time right now. We've got to dig their graves and bury them. I said, their house is going to be broken into once people know that there's no one living here. So while Mitch and I dug the graves for Lenny and Diane, I told Gwen and Mariah to go through their house, take all the food that they had, and bring it back to their place, and then we would evenly distribute what they could find. Toiletries, medicine, food, water, even Lenny's guns, take them. I told them for now that they could hold on to he had two pistols. I said, take the one pistol, and I'll take the other Colt 45 with a couple boxes of ammo that he had with it. A couple hours later, after burying them and mourning them, we were able to reconvene at Gwen and Mariah's house. I told them that Molly and I did not need extra food and water, that we were fine. So they were thankful. Gwen and Mariah and Mitch split the water 50-50 and any food 50-50. Any remaining toiletries, supplies, medical supplies, we split between all three of us. It just hit me again. We're all dropping like flies. I just didn't know how to comprehend this. Meanwhile, we're still dealing with a possible attack from North Korea on the West Coast. We've got marauding and looting happening all around us. As each night that we survive this, the screams get louder. I smell the air of burning smoke. Like as homes are getting burned out and broken into. People are dying, and I don't know what to do. I just thought about everything, just where we were at from the beginning to where we are now. We have to hold tight and survive in order for us to make it to the next day and beyond.